So let's get straight into this video. I'm not even going to introduce it really, because we checked back on the Q&A which we've just done. Wow, that person doesn't know where they're going.
Nope.
But yeah, essentially this is going to be you trying to think whether or not you want to go to a MK8 R that you've been offered over this GTI Clubsport. So
it's going to be a tough decision because I love driving this car, and it just makes me smile when I drive it. The only thing that excites me about moving to the R is that I know what I'm going to, and I've heard that formula is the best it's ever been, and so that makes me smile thinking about that. And on a day like today, I mean, look, we're on wet roads. There's no slipping going on in this car, but on the other hand, I know that if I was at standstill and I just fancied flooring the thing,
it'll go.
It's gonna go. It doesn't have the sunroof. I do miss the sunroof, and I love the Lapis blue. It's such a vibrant colour. I do love this grey though,
yep.
And it does really stand out with the red trim. But yeah, I can't really explain what it is. It's something deeper within me that knows what I'll be going to if I do it.
No, definitely.
And that just excites me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've always tried to put out how we're feeling like on camera. This car feels comfortable to me on its suspension, and with this, some potholey roads as well, you're not going to get a Clubsport and breaking your back if people do want this.
No.
If you want an R, it's probably going to be a little bit more compliant, even more slightly compliant than this, which when you're traveling at pace, to be fair, there is no wrong answer. That's the one thing that I will say. If you go to a MK8 R, you won't be disappointed, but it is going to be a different experience.
The other thing is also I'm in this situation which I have this kind of choice, and it's not every day that this is going to happen where you've gone out of a car showroom and your car within 6 to 8 months is already sort of showing a gain of
it's so bizarre.
Of money.
See, that is.
See, that's, I'm not going to get any better out of an R doing that. There's no wheel spin. This is lighter. It flies, right?
Honestly, the thing that I love about the Golfs as well is it's so effortless, and they can just do it again and again and again and again and again. Then it's not going to rattle, it's not going to fall apart. So here's the drive modes.
So I go between individual and sport. Individual, I've sort of just done a couple of tweaks, but generally speaking, I'll just put it in sport. Well, I've got a guy behind me who wants to go, so I better hurry up. So there you go, I'm flooring it. These are very, very wet roads, and there's nothing going on.
This feels planted.
Yeah,
absolutely planted. So the R is only going to be even more planted. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, when you start going around bends and you start feeling that sort of aspect of things, that's where the R comes into its own, and that's where that stability comes in. But the general drive of this car is so fun. So yeah, I can't really speak highly of it enough.
It's so much fun, and you've got to find some good roads as well. I think these roads look great.
Yeah, these are great. Yeah. Yeah. We're in the old back roads, country roads, and
M140 probably will be struggling with traction.
Yeah, I mean, I've never even driven one of those. I wouldn't even know what they feel like. I mean, I just feel like I've been in a Golf.
They feel loose
for the last 10 years of my life.
You have,
which I have been, and yeah, I've been in lots of other cars, mates' cars, BMWs, Mercedes, and yeah, they're all lovely cars. But for me, as a driver, I'm just so happy with the Golf setup, and I guess you either like the look of something or you don't. And my dad had as I said, I think in the previous video, had an early generation GTI, and I just fell in love with them from then. Yeah. And I've not looked back since.
You're gonna make me want to get If I could have them all, I would have them all.
The car moves, right?
Yeah, it shifts. It shifts seriously.
And because I know, obviously, I've driven the car for a while now, and I do drive it kind of how I want to. I know I'm not just going to literally floor it. I know that there might be 90%, and I just hold off that 10%, and it makes such a difference. So,
play around.
But that's where the skill you have to drive a two-wheel drive car. So I know that I can't just be lazy.
Yep.
But at the same time, the reward is just as good. You just have to know what you're trying to do.
No, definitely. I mean, the weird thing is, as soon as you're driving around in this, I'd just be like, just keep this car. This is so good. It's so good. It's like, because you do notice the lack of weight, which ultimately translates to it has more power to a point than you.
So do you feel that being in the passenger seat?
Yeah.
Do you feel there's a difference in the way the car carries itself?
Yeah. So I mean, as early as last week, I was in an R as a passenger, and I was as a driver as well. You notice it. I mean, that car was pan roof, 19-inch wheels, you know, decent spec, and you feel it does carry. It doesn't feel heavy, if that makes sense. You know, because it's got so much power.
See,
you feel the little bit of wheel spin.
See, there's a bit of spin. See, because I was turning as I was flooring it.
You've got to have the
that wouldn't have happened.
That is true. That is true.
So that's the only difference, and I know that because in my 7.5 I regularly tested it coming out of corners and just flooring it, and it would just never spin. I mean, it's incredible. So God knows what the 8's like.
It is unflappable, basically. Oh, it's so good.
And because of the lightness, the brakes. So good.
So the brakes are the exact same setup as the R.
Same as the R, but because it's lighter, you feel the strength of them so much more.
That is true. So in some ways, this has got better brakes than an R. It's probably give or take on the move just as fast. That does feel good. Gearbox is allegedly the same. Although, okay, I will say one thing about the gearbox. Out of the GTIs and the Rs that I've driven, I found the 7-speed DSG better in the R.
Okay.
And that's probably not specific to yours, actually. It was just because I tried the Clubsport before the first time, and I felt it's a little bit off. And when I've driven Rs, it just felt a little bit better. In fairness, actually, the more that I think about it, when I remember driving yours, it felt pretty bang on, actually.
Right.
So maybe I'll take that back. It's the same. It's the same gearbox. Once VW sorted out there early, they have some glitches, some software stuff. I've seen.
Oh yeah.
Some people have really been going on quite hard about it. I've seen on some forums and stuff. I think. I mean,
what sort of things?
They've just been saying like, oh, we're having so many software issues, so many faults, all this kind of stuff.
But it's the handling of this as well. It's like when you're going around the corners. It's more focused, and you can tell why the guy from that review went on about it. It just goes. It's just that little bit more focused, a little bit more agile, maybe in the corners.
Completely. And the thing for me, you could be in, you know, $100 grand supercar or whatever.
Yep.
You're never going to be going as fast as this. You're probably not going to be having as much fun. And you're going to be going home going, oh crap, I've spent 6 figures on a car.
And you're going to be worried about smashing the bottom of your car on every single pothole. I mean, it must be. I mean, that's a really good point, actually. I mean, living out here, you know, you're not on a race circuit. If you're on just any normal road, I mean, what a nightmare that must be, like driving a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. I mean, you must literally be worried sick you're going to destroy your car.
No, I couldn't agree more. And this is a completely standard GTI Clubsport.
Yep.
You know, it's literally completely standard.
Completely standard.
18-inch wheels, doesn't have DCC, and it's absolutely fine.
And this is what I mean. The thing with the DCC is, I'm a bit of a I need something to show me it's going to be good.
Yeah.
And I can't feel what I'm missing.
No, that's true.
You know, I'm perfectly comfortable. I've driven the cars for years in every way you can imagine, and I've never come out of the car thinking, well, this is a bit uncomfortable.
Oh, my back. The seats are great. The seats are great.
Yeah.
Same as the R. So
it's just for me personally. I've not had the thought, oh, I need DCC.
I think that's the thing as well. Talking about like if you want the 8R, the things that you love about this car, you will still get. So you'll still get these nice comfortable seats.
Yep.
You'll still get that decent enough ride. Yeah, it's just obviously that different driving experience. Okay, there we're getting the bangs now.
Yeah.
it's such an entertaining car.
If we put the windows down,
I don't know if it'll pick it up, but let's see if it does.
You must have got that. That was one of the loudest ones I've heard of it.
I love how you get variants as well. Like that was like too soft, and then the first one was one loud.
I use the gear you're in.
This saw a 320D.
Not a lot of thinking required there.
You decide, viewers. I'm going with a Clubsport. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.